Hello there, my dear friends. In continuation of our series of instructional videos about the LS brand M100 inverter, today we want to discuss another very useful feature of the M100 inverter. In these instructional videos, we are going to demonstrate step by step exactly how to connect the M100 inverter to another device using the MODBUS-RTU protocol. We will learn about the RS-485 network and see exactly what settings need to be configured on the inverter. And also, how exactly should the wiring for the inverter be done in the RS-485 network. For the M100 inverter, if we want to perform start and stop operations through the network on the M100 inverter, you need to go into the operation parameter group, access the DRV parameter, and manually adjust the DRV parameter to the value 3. If we set the DRV parameter to 3, our start, stop, or command source will be through the RS-485 network. But for frequency setting, in order for our frequency reference on the M100 inverter to be through the RS-485 network, you need to set the FRQ parameter in the same main group to the value 9. One important point to keep in mind is that in these M100 inverters, only the advanced model supports the RS-485 network, and the standard model does not have RS-485 network support. So you need to pay attention to this point. So in order for the frequency reference, so that our frequency reference in this inverter is set via the RS-485 network, we need to set the FRQ parameter to the value 9. But there are other settings that we need to configure for the RS-485 network. That is in the CM group or communication group, which is related to the network. In CM01, we need to enter the ID of this inverter or the station ID in parameter number 2 of the CM group. We need to select our protocol, which in this case we want to do. We want to accomplish this via the MODBUS-RTU protocol, and we need to set the parameter CM2 to a value of 0. Next, in parameter number 3, we specify our communication speed or baud rate. In this case, we want our baud rate to be 9600, so we set this parameter to 3. That covers the essential network settings for the M100 inverter. These are the addresses that we need to enter for the frequency setting and the start-stop commands. According to the Modbus map provided in the M100 inverter manual for the frequency command to be entered via the network, that is, for the frequency value to be entered through the network, we need to assign it address 5. Register address 05 hex sets the frequency. And for the start and stop commands, we use address 06 hex. It is important to keep in mind that if bit 0 of address 06 hex is active, meaning its value is 1, the inverter will stop. If bit 1 is active, meaning its value is 2, the inverter will start in forward mode. And if the second bit is currently active, which means that the value of this address is 4, the inverter will begin operating in reverse mode. So the address related to frequency is set 5, and the address related to start/stop or our command is the specific address 6. But in the M100 inverter, in order to properly set up the network wiring, an RJ45 port has been conveniently provided on the M100 inverter for the advanced models. If we want to connect the RJ485 network to this port, and to use the RS485 network, we use this RJ45 port. According to the diagram you see here, the first pin from the right corresponds to the positive terminal of RS485, or the S-positive terminal. Starting from the left side, the very first pin is designated as the negative terminal, also known as S-negative. For our specific wiring configuration, we will connect the positive lead of the RS485 terminal block directly to pin number 1 of the RJ45 port. Following that, the negative terminal must be connected to pin number 8. This pin 8 is actually the first pin from the left-hand side, which serves as the negative terminal. This completes the necessary wiring setup for the RS-485 communication network on the M100 inverter system. Let's do all the settings we've learned together and test the M100 inverter network together. So as we said on the M100 inverter, if we want to have start and stop through the network, for the RS-485 communication network, you must configure the DRV parameter in the primary parameter group to 3. But in order for our frequency reference to be received via the RS-485 network, you will also need to set the FRQ parameter to 9. We said that the parameters related to the network are in the CM group. In the CM group, CM1 is related to the station or the same as the ID. I've set this inverter here to 1. The CM2 parameter is directly associated with the protocol we want to use here. We said that if we configure this value to 0, our communication protocol will be MODBUS-RTU. Okay, but CM cubed, as we said, is our specific baud rate speed. We said we want it to be 9600, so we manually set it to 3. Okay, so now, for example, on the HMI of high-tech, I'm setting the value to 20 Hz. You can see that as soon as I enter 20 Hz, the inverter display shows 20 Hz. And now the inverter starts running in the forward direction. You can see it. It started running in the forward direction and the electric motor began to operate. If I want to stop it, I just need to press the stop button. Then the stop command is issued and the inverter stops the electric motor accordingly. So we have now learned that if we want to start or stop the EMAD inverter through the established network connection or change its frequency, what parameters do we need to set?